Action!
A mud boy went. Yo, sports fans, welcome to another exciting and informative episode of Let's Talk Sports. And we're powered by the one and only app that delivers the latest and most relevant content in both local and international sports, the Sportsmax app.
For sure. And apart from promoting a great app, you know Aaron and I are always about bringing you entertainment through solid discussion on what's hot and noteworthy in the world of sports. Like Messi, finally getting an international title. My view that England should be banned from the next World Cup.
We're not even going to that right now, is it me? Now, with the next major global sporting event right around the corner, then today's location, as you can see behind us, and special guests are very much befitting of what's about to be discussed. So without further delay, now we'll kick it off.
Dutton loses it. Oh, Blake Griffin!
Donovan has it! From hope, there is glory!
Bringing down the rain, the heavens!
So peeps, the Tokyo 2020 Olympics is finally upon us. And I know especially you, during these times as Jamaican, tend to be the most patriotic and ready to take on anybody who feel like they want to come start with Jamaican at least then. Because you know...
From this one,
this all.
Isn't it? And when we say all, we mean everybody, not just the ones on the track. Matter of fact, how many of you actually knew we had athletes representing us in various other disciplines during this Olympics besides track and field?
Peeps, we're not gonna pretend like Aaron not just know about that.
No,
but enough people don't know.
Enough people don't know.
So we are gonna bring you up to speed in this episode. So give us your full support and possibly have an even further appreciation of what these athletes do.
Alright, so first on the list we have boxing. We haven't had an athlete entering in the Olympics since what, 1996?
29 years.
Yeah, roughly around that, yeah? Now, Ricardo Brown, he won the bronze at the Pan American Games and is ranked number 4 in the Americas, yeah? Then
you even have swimming. You have Alia Atkinson. This is her 5th Olympic appearance. And you have Keenan Dawes on the men's side, which is his first Olympic appearance.
Yeah, man. We even have judo. You can believe that first time we enter in judo.
I still know. I never know what was judo. You have to Google it.
But yeah, we have Ebony Drisdale. She's a British-born athlete who won the European Junior and Scottish Open titles, and as a result of that, she actually qualified for the Olympics under the Jamaican banner.
And we have gymnastics. You have Danusha Francis, British-born, who will be representing Jamaica for the very first time at the Olympics.
And she's actually the second Jamaican female athlete who will be doing gymnastics for us.
I'm looking forward to that, you know.
Yeah, I mean...
The gymnastics girls, damn.
Yeah, man, and if you don't know who Danusha is, trust me, peeps, you're going to want to look out for her for sure. Then we have Yona Night Wisdom. Now, this is under the banner of diving, or the discipline of diving. He's the first male diver to represent not only Jamaica, but from a Caribbean island. And this is when his first time was actually during the Rio Olympics in 2016, and he's now qualifying again a second time. So we're looking out for big things from these people, yeah?
Peeps, we know you're interested in learning about the other disciplines that we are a part of, but you know we have to stay true and talk about the major discipline that Jamaica will partake in, track and field.
That's right. And in doing so, we decided to reach out and invite 2 very prominent and well-seasoned sports journalists, one of whom actually represented us previously at the junior athlete level. So joining us today will be Mr. Ricardo Chambers and Ms. Trishana McGowan.
Welcome guys.
Welcome.
Well, thank you.
Hi,
and
thanks.
for the record, Trishana is the one who represented Jamaica.
Yes,
I
I
googled
did.
Ricardo Chambers before we started, you know, and I saw a figure come up and I'm like, this don't look like the same guy.
Well, I have the body for 400, but not the talent.
Not the talent. Not the talent.
I don't know. That's all debatable. I don't know.
Well, thank you guys for joining us.
His body could be built for 400, 200, 800. You look more 800 still.
And other things.
I'm swimming.
Tennis.
Yes, his favorite thing. He does
Thanks
that.
for joining us, guys. We're just going to get right into it. We want to know your views about this Tokyo 2020 Olympics. Where do you see Jamaica? Where do you think we'll come out in track and field? I know Aaron has his opinion where it comes on to the men versus the female. So,
Well, let me just make it be clear before we even go into that. No, from my personal opinion, I feel like the Jamaican contingent or the track and field contingent or the Jamaican Olympic team, it's been viewed from a bit of a skewed outlook from the public. You know, meaning more focus is on the women's side more than that of the men. Yeah, and I kind of feel like, you know, because we don't really have like the brand names on the men's side, like how they have the women's side.
Do I take this one?
Sure.
So, you know, again, thanks for having me. But my view is that the Olympics is about women, and it's not just Jamaican women.
Right.
So I have dubbed it.
that's an interesting one right there.
I've dubbed it my personal thing by calling it Women Are the Olympics 2021.
Nice.
And that's on the track and the field side, and also in other areas of the sport.
Right.
One of the commentators that we'll hear will be Catherine Merry, and she's a woman, you know, doing this for so long, resides over there in England. So I say that to say the women from Jamaica will be there doing well on the track and also in the field. But the other women, you know, Yulimar Rojas from Venezuela, and I don't want to start calling names because we might be here all evening. And then we're going to see why the Olympics is not just about, it's not to say the men will not be as important or they're not important. We're not saying that. But this Olympics is all about the women on the track and field side and in other areas as well.
I want to examine it from both the men's side and the women's side. Prospects, I know the women's definitely going to take the spotlight, but from our Jamaican contingent side, I want to see how exactly what or likelihood of making getting medals in certain field events are concerned, right?
Yeah.
Well, we're kicking it off with the women's side, the 100 and the 200 women's. I know that is one of the most highly anticipated race events, right? And personally, I feel like we can get the 1, 2, 3 still, given that certain people are really involved in it again. But I mean, there is strong competition as well.
Yeah.
So what are your views on it?
Well, first of all, I think even if certain people were involved, then there still would be a possibility of a 1, 2, 3. The fact is, we have 3 amazing women going to the Olympics at both 100 and 200 meters. Both Shelley and Fraser Price and Elaine Thompson-Herah have shown that they can perform on the global stage and win medals, albeit that Elaine hasn't done it since 2016 globally. And so maybe there might be some confidence issues, but we also know she is good enough that if she can put it together, she should be on the podium. And then Sharika.
Yeah, we have the confidence
new
of Sharika.
to the event, but she's not new to world-class track and field and medaling globally. You're talking about someone who medaled at the World Championships 2015, Olympics 2016, World Championships 2019. So that experience is there. So it's possible. At this stage, I think if anyone will stop the Jamaicans at 100, it's going to be Dina Asher-Smith. Did complain of a tight hamstring before the Gateshead Diamond League and pulled out of that. But I think she's young, she's talented, and she's improving. And we'll have to watch her closely. At 200, there's Dina again. There is Shawnee Miller-Weibo.
Say that name again.
Shawnee Miller-Weibo. You like it? I mean, you just can't count her out. She did have niggles leading into the Bahamian trials where she ran both the 200 and 400 there. Still some question marks as to, does she go 400 only?
Or
does
stick
she
to the
do
200
the 200,
meters?
400? No, if I were her
I stick to the
and I
200.
saw that, well, you know,
No.
for 4 years, for 4 years, Shawnee Miller went 200 unbeaten until she met Sharika Jackson a few weeks ago and lost for the first time since the 2017 World Championship final. If I were her, I would run away from that 200.
No.
I would focus on the 400 where the The world champion is not competing. Nassau.
Ricardo.
What?
No, while I get what you're saying, and I'm not totally disagreeing.
Okay.
But for you to say half disagree, because while we will speak about our Jamaican that's very informed, Shericka Jackson, let's not take away from the caliber athlete Shawnee Miller-Weber is. She has both athletes, by the way, they've been competing against each other since junior days. If Shawnee Miller,
20 and 1 now,
right? So if Shawnee Miller-Weber is in or close to the form that we have been accustomed to, all ladies will be going rounds, and you have to take that into consideration as well. And I think that it will be a fair chance if she's to do either one. I know no athlete goes to the line wanting silver or bronze. So she will be heading to the line initially to get that gold in the 200 meters. But I think that, it's such a strong field. Dina Asher-Smith, Shelley Fraser-Price, Elaine Thompson-Era. We can go on and on with the names that can possibly challenge in that 200 meters that will say, maybe she should consider, stepping away. I wouldn't say step away, but, if she can do both the 4 and 2.
I have to agree with Ricardo here. I think she should step away, stick to the 4, given that, as you just mentioned, there's a lot of competition in the 2, and she can't manage the round, so we know that she can't do both.
Why she can't manage the round?
She can't manage the round. She's
Why
complaining
not?
about the time.
No. She's training. She's
here's the
training.
thing,
She can manage the round.
So here's the thing. I'm concerned about whether she'll be able to handle the rounds where she will have to run, for example, a round of 400 on the same day that she has the 200 final.
that is the concern.
So if the events did not overlap, then I would say, you know what, definitely go for it.
Yeah.
Also, personally, I think at this stage, given everything that has happened to her this season, given the fact that she had a little injury as well, that her best chance of winning right now is at 400, and that final is after the 200 final. So do you risk running 3 really tough rounds of 200 and then suffer at 400 and potentially lose? We've seen with Shawnee before.
So let me ask you a question.
All right, go on now.
So you're saying if she's to go and run the 400, it's a guaranteed win for her?
I think she has a better chance of winning the 400.
I
don't think anything is guaranteed at the Olympics.
But to not talk like so, to know what's going to happen, and I don't like that.
400.
All right, so hold on. Given that we're talking about even the mixture of the races, the 100, the 200, and the 400, and the different representatives in there, this leads me to the next thing that I wanted to. What are our prospects looking like where it comes to the 4x1 and the 4x4 teams that will be going
for women?
For women.
Yeah, the women will definitely medal.
Yeah. In the 4x4, they will medal. In the 4x1, once they get the baton around, that's very important. Getting the stick around, because you can't win no medal if you stick no go around. They should win. I don't see us losing that 4x1.
The question is, once we get the baton around, of course, do we break the world record or not?
That's where we're at.
That's where we are at right now when it comes to the women's 4x1.
I definitely see that confidence as well.
Yeah.
I don't see any other reason why, especially the 4x1, why it shouldn't go anywhere than that.
On foot speed, there's no country in the world that can match us.
Straight.
So it's just a matter of, can you get the baton around? Will the chemistry be there? Will the coaches get the order right?
Which is important
what's
as well.
What order are you looking at? Because
but not only that, which would be tough, because usually we would have the camps. And remember, they canceled the camps, which is also a concern.
Right.
So now you bank on the experience of the women, along with the time that they will have there when they get to Tokyo to make the necessary training for that. But I think what sometimes Jamaicans don't understand how important a camp is, because remember, these athletes do train. Some train here, some train overseas. So it's getting it right on the day.
Gotcha.
Well, you have to get it right before you actually hit the track. And then now making the order for 4 women.
Well, my order, I have Brianna to Elaine to Jackson to Shelley. I don't know how you guys feel about that order.
Well,
Not bad, eh?
That's not bad.
That not bad at all.
I feel Shericka Jackson has to run a straight. So it's either the backstretch or the ankle leg, which are the legs for Shelley as far as I'm concerned as well. So for me, Brianna starts, Elaine is on 3rd. For me, it can be no other way, but I'm not the coach. As the issue I have with Shericka, right? So I would actually have Sharika anchor, which is what we did at the 2019 World Championships when we won. And the reason for that is Sharika has very limited to no experience, both passing and receiving the baton. And any other leg would mean that, well, second or third would mean that she would have to both pass and receive. When she was at Veer Technical, she was anchor leg as well. By one. UTech, I think anchor leg as well. So very limited experience. And so I would go safe from that standpoint, have Shelly produce another blistering backstretch like she did in 2019, finish the race from there, and then go for the world record after that.
I agree. Okay, so
what is the order one? What you said? Sharika, Brianna to
Shelly, to Elaine, to Sharika.
Okay.
You agree with that one too?
But I wouldn't be surprised if Shelly ends up on anchor though.
I would do Brianna to Sharika. Brianna to Sharika to Elaine to Shelly.
Yeah. Okay. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the order, but that's not the one I would go with.
Well, that's 3 different
well,
order
I'm sure all of us going to see the order they're going to find out. Because it will be tough. It will be tough for a coach to decide. But I am pretty sure, or more confident, I would say, in having Brianna start. 19-year-old, she is professional, but I think without putting so much pressure on her, just making it easy. One go, hand over instead of having to collect, because people wonder, like, why she not choose a different leg? Why they don't put her on a different leg? Like I said, she's 19-year-old, she's powerful.
There's too much pressure
there's no other leg for her
to run.
If she doesn't start, who starts?
Shelly?
And I think this is one of the few times.
I'm speaking like the Jamaican. Make Shelly not start.
Well, the truth is, so although Shelly has been the super starter at 100 meters, right? When I've looked at her running first legs for Jamaica, they have not been very good. She has run way better second legs and anchor legs ever since she came in 2008. If you ask me, her first legs tend to look a little bit lukewarm. So I wouldn't put her there. Plus, I think in any case, on this team, she would be wasted there. And you don't have this thing about anymore, oh, Shelly's not a great finisher. Everybody knows that's now not true.
No, man, say it like Shelly, man. May I finish fast now? She was asked about that, She said, may I finish fast now? So,
I mean, well, the one other thing that I wanted to address on the women's side, in the 800.
No, man, we can't make the whole show about women, man.
Right.
I know you don't want to.
I know you don't want to. Women are the Olympics 2021. We can't do that all day.
We're gonna look on it from both.
Okay, let's include the men.
Let's look on it from both angles.
Yeah.
But just before we go to the men, though, what about goal in the 800?
What about Gould, Trish?
I love Natalia. I love Natalia Gould. I think that, she has gotten so much better in terms of her times dropping. And I think if she can put like a perfect race together, she can be on the podium.
Okay.
And it's sometimes difficult. And I saw her at the last Diamond League. Natalia, what did you do? But I'm like, you're right there. So she was leading for almost, the last 50, 60 meters. And then they passed her, she finished 4th. But I'm just saying to say, I'm trusting that if she can put a perfect race together, she can be on the podium. There's no doubt why she shouldn't be on the podium. But if she's not on the podium, what I will say though, she will be in the finals, and I'm hoping that she will get a personal best.
All right. Ooh.
I want that for her. A PB would be really lovely.
Come on, that would be good.
I'll say if she PRs, she medals.
Okay.
I would be shocked
in other words,
if she ran a
you agree with me
and did, of course.
That's all I have to say. Just say that now.
You'd be shocked if she ran a personal best and do medal.
Yeah.
All right.
Wow.
So we're gonna don't go on the side now where Trish not really feel like relevant.
I agree with Trish because we are talking how long.
Yours? I did not say that.
First of all, I feel like you guys and almost all of Jamaica are being unfair to the men.
All right. So in that fairness,
bro. Wait. Hold on.
And this will come here for you.
You got time.
We're talking about the whole track and field atmosphere.
Yes.
Persons talk about you when you perform.
Yes.
Has the men been performing for us? Been talking about them?
Yes.
Yes.
Tajay Gale has been performing.
Yes.
He's a world champion.
From the long jump
Our
side.
sprint hurdlers have been performing.
They're worthy of
But
talking about. Jail
but you
has
know
been
when
performing.
Jamaicans are talking,
In the four
Jamaicans are
hurdles.
talking about the 100 before
No,
we
no,
jump
no,
to
no, 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 no,
Tajay
no,
Gale
no,
and
no,
a
no,
sprint
wait, hold on,
hurdles.
hold on, hold
You
on.
know, you know that.
Did you invite me as a 100 expert or a field expert?
Hold on.
Okay.
As a sports journalist, first of all, you know, and it's time for Jamaicans to we love the sport too much
Yeah.
to be stuck on 100 and 200 meters.
Well, you see why I say it was kind of
Right?
skewed?
No, because why I say that, and it's no problem because the world love the sprints. Who doesn't?
Right.
Short, spicy, get to the point. But in 2019, Jamaica witnessed medals coming from areas we never thought we'd
Especially
medal
with Tajay.
before.
Yeah.
Tajay Gale, Frederick Dakers, Shanika Ricketts in the jumps. I'm just saying that we're moving away from it. Oden Richards gave us a bronze medal 2015 in the
much
men's
so.
shot put. So a time for we start talk about other people
Right, and I
other
heard-
than the sprints.
And I heard you mention where the hurdles is concerned. No,
Oh dear.
no.
It's a very touchy topic, you know, but I think we should talk about it.
Oh yeah, man.
No.
How do you feel about it?
Yeah.
He came on social and said,
Who is he?
Mr. McLeod. Mr.
Mr.
McLeod
McLeod.
came
okay.
on.
He came out on social and he said he hasn't felt like he's been getting the support of Jamaica on a whole in his recent performance at the trials.
Well, Ricardo, before you touch me, I want to hear Trish.
Yeah.
I want to hear Trish's
probably
view
should.
on this. Because I know Trish is very passionate about it. Huh?
First of all, let me declare something. I love our athletes.
Yeah.
I'm passionate about our athletes. I know the work they do. And I mean, everybody go out there to make the team. I don't know what totally transpired based on what is being said from his side, the coach's side, the J3A's president side, and other names being called. I think though, I sympathize with him because I really wanted him there. I thought that, you know, him going up against Grant Holloway of United States would have been tremendous. It would have been so good. Like you'd be on the edge of the seat, so.
Yeah.
Right? But,
Hot
you know,
cover and all.
yeah, mishaps happen.
True.
No, based on that miscommunication as well, from what we're hearing, I just wish Omar would word things differently.
Yeah.
With that said, with him wording things differently and taking a different perspective, it would show some form of respect to the three men that have been qualified.
Precisely. Because they ran the time.
They ran the times and they finished in the top three because that's the criteria of the J3A's trials. That's how you get selected.
Right.
No, I want him to move away from, you know, the fact that who not back him and who should have back him. And while that is and can be debated from now till the next Olympics, I don't want it to be about that because my things are the three man them, they run, top three times, that's where the focus should be.
And leave even beat him afterwards.
Yeah.
I mean, that 13-2-2 to that 13-4.
Yeah, and I think Omar clipped the penultimate hurdle and then his race just fell apart. And I know that there are some experts who feel that Omar's biggest issue is his technique and that he really needs to go and work on that. But I'm not even going to go there. I'm not even going to go there. As far as this Omar McLeod issue is concerned, one of the things I want to point out for people that I think people need to understand, because there is this rhetoric that I'm picking up where individuals feel that if Omar had not run, if the association had said to him, okay, you can get a medical exemption and he didn't run on that morning, that it would become automatic for him to be selected. And that's not true. That cannot be the case, because what the rules say, what the rule says is that if you get a medical exemption, you can be considered for selection. It's like buying a lotto ticket. It does not mean that
you only get the
Yeah, because the
possibility.
It gives
exactly,
you a
because the
chance.
consideration comes in if the three that qualified maybe becomes injured or they're proven unfit.
Yeah. So now the association has to think, based on the quality of the other athletes that we have, do we need to take out one of them to put this person in? And when you look at the quality of the three persons who made it, Ronald Levy, who is the reigning Commonwealth Games champion, in the top 5 in the world this year. You're talking about Damian Thomas, who is World Junior champion, World Junior record holder, NCAA indoor champion. You're talking about Hansa Parchment, who is a 2-time global medalist, Olympic bronze medalist, World Championship silver medalist. Who do you take out?
I wouldn't take
Who
out
do you
anybody
take
at
out?
all.
How do you go to Hansa Parchment, who finished third, who for the last 5 years, don't forget that in 2016, Hansa Parchment applied for a medical exemption, which, by the way, he was given, but still did not get to compete. How do you tell a Hansa Parchment who has struggled through 4.5 years of injuries to be back at this stage, to finally be back in a position where he can contend for an Olympic medal, and you go to him and say, well, Hansel, I'm sorry, but because somebody didn't have enough breakfast, or well, maybe I shouldn't put it like
we shouldn't
that.
put it at the breakfast place,
Let me put it
Wait,
this
I get
way.
what you're
Let me
saying.
put it this way. Yeah, whatever the case may be, we're gonna take you out and put somebody else in. That is what would not be fair.
And that is the question.
definitely.
The only question, I see everybody making a circus of the whole thing, and I don't like circus.
Oh, you
I just
don't?
no.
But you are
I
a
have
circus.
one question. I have one question that I just want answered. Who do we take out? Because I'm not going to think. I'm not going to say, oh, it's maybe Hansel because he finished third. I don't know who
Well,
it is.
that's
I don't
what-
know
that's what the rule says.
But that's the thing.
I know what the rules.
That's what the rules
No, but-
speak to. You can't take out the winner,
And you can't take out the second place.
unless it is proven that they are
Unfit for the run.
woefully out of form or unfit to compete. First of all, let's not even forget that the fourth place finisher ran 13:22. Now at 13:22, you can be and will likely be in the Olympic final, and that's who they chose as the alternate. So the event is that deep. And quickly, before you ask the other question, I want to say this because people are probably going to start thinking that I am not
You're
an Omar McLeod fan. I am not. I actually respect Omar McLeod and what he's been able to achieve. But I'm also very big on fairness, which is the same fairness that Omar McLeod spoke about. And I feel it for Omar McLeod. But my advice to him would be go on the Diamond League, try and win the Diamond League and get that automatic spot to the World Championships next year so you don't have to be in this position come 2022. That would be my advice to him. But what is fair, what is just, is that the three men who crossed the line 1, 2, 3 at the national championships and ran either personal bests or season's best under the very difficult conditions that Omar described should go to the Olympics.
Which all the athletes spoke about. I mean,
he was subjected to the same thing that they were subjected to.
yeah, and
so
I mean,
don't see
the
any
sprinters ran 3 rounds of 100 meters between Thursday and Friday, and they were back 8 a.m. Saturday morning for the 200 heat. So Hansel Parchment spoke about that when he finished in the final of the hurdles, that he was so excited to qualify, but it was so tough coming back, Sunday morning. So it's just, like I said, the situation was, it wasn't ideal for all the athletes, and it was unfortunate how it played out for him. But like I said, I will miss him. Him going up against Grant Holloway, I was looking forward to that.
I was looking forward to that too. I wanted to see that clash.
On the men's side, since the one I'm give for that, I was looking forward to on the men's side.
Omar Parrish just eat the man in the
But
morning.
here's the thing though, the three men who are going, as far as I'm concerned, all have the ability to medal. No, I'm not saying that they're going to finish 1, 2, 3, but I'm saying they all have the ability to medal. So it could be one of them, it could be two of them, and I guess if Grant Holloway falls or something, it could be 3 of them.
I would have mind him clip a medal.
But they all have the ability. They are all that good. So it's not like you're sending 3 athletes who don't have what it takes to be
and
Olympic
I'm happy you said that, but my view, while I agree with that, my view is they came to our national trials, they're qualified. If they go and they don't make the final, but still go do that.
Yeah.
Because they're qualified.
Sanya Richards-Ross didn't make the US team 1 year. She was #1 in the world.
Oh, Kendra Harrison is training partner.
World record holder. Training partner didn't make the last Olympics.
It happens.
It happens. It's difficult.
Yeah. It's tough to take.
For
It's
Omar
tough.
McLeod, but you deal with it and you come back again.
Yep.
Okay.
It's
All
tough,
right.
but it's true.
That's true. Just a one last thing on the men's side though, because I know we briefly just mentioned it before, but in terms of our prospects in the 100 and 200 based on the talents that we have available.
I like that
you say we're fair,
because I don't see us, this is a personal view of mine, I don't see us making it to the finals, especially in the 100.
Oh, this is a personal view of mine too. I see at least one Jamaican man making the final, and I think the potential is there again for all 3 to be in the final. It might not be all 3, it will likely not be all 3, but I think at least one of them. Johan Blake has been in every major final since 2016. There's no reason for me to think that he's not going to get back there. Taekwondo Tracy missed the World Championship final 2 years ago by thousandths of a second. He ran the same time that the last qualifier ran. That's how close it was. That's how close it was to him being in the final. And Oblique Seville is like, what, 20 years old? Improving, had an injury before the national championship, still turned up and ran 10.04. If he's been training well between the trials and the Olympics, I expect him to improve and be in business as well. So
I expect us to have a finalist in both the 100 and the 200 men. Sorry to disappoint you. I think that when you,
it should be tight though.
It's going to be tough. The 200 will be tough, but if once you're in the final, you're in the final. You know, which one of our guys will it be? I'm not sure as yet, but I do see one of them. I forget that, you know, with training, sometimes injuries. I'm hoping that if they're not injured, let me throw that out there. If there is absolutely no injuries to our men regarding the sprints, I can see us having a finalist in both.
And we should be encouraged by what they did at the national championships. I mean, Rashid Dwyer ran 20.17, and Johan ran 20.1 or 20.2. Julian Fort,
he got injured, but he ran the qualifying time before.
20.2 as well in the semi-finals. We should be encouraged by that. If you turn up at the Olympic Games in that shape, and I assume that they'll continue to improve, then you have a chance. I'm not saying you'll get in. I actually think it's more difficult for the 200 because I think you have to be about 20.0 if you want to be in the final. But if you're improving between trials and the Olympics,
you can.
It's not impossible, but I think the 200.
We've seen a lot of impossible things happen before. So
and this is track
I'm hoping that one of our men.
When Warren Ware medaled,
nobody expected it.
He went to the Olympics running something like 20.2.
Remember,
And
there's
he
no
went down to
time
19
designated to anything. Remember, you show up and you compete. That's what it's about. You know, you just never know what performance or what a momentum might shift within the camp. You never know what can happen. So, like I said, I do see us having one finalist for the men in the 100 and the 200. Whether it be heat, fastest time.
I say 100 and I hold out hope for the 200. Just to be clear.
And just to be clear, I'm hopeful and I have faith in our men that one can pop their sir and one pop their sir and we'll go on with the self.
All right, so guys, we've mentioned the other big events and things, but we don't want to rule out the men in also in where the 400 meter hurdles and the 400 meter is concerned. So let's hear your take on that part.
I'll let Shoshana take that, guys.
I mean, none for the 400 meters.
None for the 400.
Disappointing. However, if one could get to the final, I mean, Demish Gay would, you know, people would maybe look to Demish getting to the final. But I don't see any of our men, based on the form, going in for the 400 meters. I don't see them getting to the final.
Gotcha.
And it's just what it is. You know, at this point in time, look for them next year, all being well. But for the 400 meter hurdles though, I'm excited. Jahil Hyde having the season of his life. Like, I'm excited for him. 48 seconds in the 400 meter hurdles here at our national trials. He has lowered his time in the 400 meters. So the minute you drop the time in the 400 meters means that you have gotten much faster. And he has put that, you know, into good work, and we saw that. So I think that if everything should go well for him, we can maybe have him into the final. For me, okay. Jamaicans love to talk about medals. For me, you can't get a medal if you're not in the final. So me just want...
You want to get in the final?
I want our athletes to get into the final. When they're in the final...
You never know.
Jamaicans have said the person they're going to get medal. Oh, you know, them not in the final. They have to get there. It's just the reality of what it is. And I think that, you know, I just want him in the final. And once he's there, I think that would be such a massive achievement for him and another step into the direction for World Championships next year. So I'm excited about that for him. Personal best, final, I don't know.
And you know what I'm excited about for Jahil overall? There's a lot of time the conversation come about where these championship athletes from our local championship in high school don't really progress on the professional stage. Just to see him continue and progressing, like, it's really, really good news.
Yeah, it is.
No, it really would be. I mean, his junior career was like none we've ever had as far as the titles are concerned.
Schoolboy football,
And then on
track
top of
and
it,
field.
juggling that with schoolboy football. So I mean, the man
would be nice to see him in the Olympic final, and I think if he runs like he did at the trials, he should get there.
Yeah. I think that would be a massive achievement for him.
For
if
sure.
you getting a medal would just be like icing on a cake, but getting into a final,
Problem for Jahil though, as well as he's running, right now if you're thinking about a medal, the event is the strongest it has probably ever been, because you now have the world record holder,
Christian Warlow
in Varham. You have Rai Benjamin out of the USA who has gone close to the previous world record. There's the Santos from Brazil who has now run 47.3. There's Karen McMaster from the BVI who is a 47.5 guy. I mean, we've seen so many Olympic games where 47.6 would win. Now you have 5 men who have already run faster than that this year. So for Jahil to get into a position to medal, it will take something special. But I think one step at a time, get into the final and use that to build for next year.
So Trish, I don't want to put some words into your mouth right now, but the men's 400 meter hurdles, that finals probably excite you.
The women?
The men.
The women?
The men.
The women.
Well, I know the women can, but the men.
I like that. But no, I think both the 400 meter hurdles final will be good. If based on the times, the athletes that, with the world records, the season's best, the personal best times that we have been watching on the circuit, if those persons are in the final, so both the men and the women, they're going to be too good. Like we're going to be thinking like 100 and 200 this. That's a spotlight that both those events will have. It's going to be really good. Where do our Jamaicans factor into that? Like I said, regarding the 400 meter hurdles for men, we want Jahil to get to the final. For me, that's what I want. And for our women, I really would love to see Genevieve Russell getting to the final. Yeah, that would be good as well. If Leah Nugent and Rhonda White want to do the work and get in there as well, that would be good. But to get a medal in both these events for our Jamaicans,
that would be a big plus.
That's going to take some special running, and like when them finish running, like they would get on the podium, it would be like them season maybe end. That's how they would be tired because it's going to be that good.
Okay,
yeah.
Good.
That's good.
All right. Now, we know we mentioned it previously before, but just kind of go back to it. Tajay.
Gold medal for me. I mean, gold medal for me.
I don't see any reason why Tajay shouldn't come back with, at least, for me, I would say gold, but at the very least, it should be a silver medal. Okay. At the very least.
Okay. That's fair enough. That's fair enough.
At the very least.
That's fair enough.
But you called me here so that I could.
Yeah, that's fair enough. It's deeper than that.
So I want to give you all the possible scenarios. Now I agree with you. Tajay should medal, all things being equal. But I only have one concern when it comes to Tajay. If you remember 2019 World Championship when he made the final, he barely squeezed into the final. He was the
on that last jump
best performer from the prelims. Now Tajay has this thing where he starts really slowly, and even in the local meets in Jamaica, it's a regular thing where he doesn't get going until rounds 4 and 5. Now when you get to the Olympic Games and the standard is higher, you have to get going a lot quicker, because look back at 2019, that 12th could easily have been 13 and he wouldn't be the world champion right now. So I think that is something he needs to work on for the Olympic Games, where he's able to hit those big jumps early, because at the Olympics, first round, bam, you fall the first round, you're under pressure second round now, and if you don't hit a big jump in the second round, then you're left with one jump to try and get into the final. Same thing when you get to the final to try and get into the top 8. So it's very important, and I hope that his coaches are really working on getting him to hit bigger jumps earlier in the competition and not wait until deeper in the competition, because at that level, deeper in the competition, you might just
putting too much pressure on yourself, and with putting too much pressure on yourself in the long jump, you don't want to be getting to that board and the feet going over, along with not getting the distance that you'd want to get into the
And it's a mind game, because if you're doing that on your last jump, you have the board, and then you're also having the distance, so you're thinking like you need to perform your best
Yeah.
jump. So in the back of your mind, I need to hit that mark on the board. I can't go over.
Exactly,
and
along
that
with
alone will
making sure you get the elevation and the landing properly.
And here's
But
the
I
thing.
trust his team to get the job done. It's just a matter of him executing. And I think that I want to believe that by now, despite the slow starts that we've seen from him,
Him learn.
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
I hope he puts it together as well and gets it right.
And early as possible.
And you talk about the mental aspect of it. So when you're at the national championships, for example, and deep down you know that you are one of only 2 athletes at the qualifying mark. So even if you fall out, you probably still go to the Olympics. When you're at a Diamond League, it's important, but it's not that important. So you're still a little bit more relaxed, even when you don't get it on your early jumps.
Yeah.
When you get to the Olympics, and this
the
is
Olympics.
now everything.
Yeah.
Like if you mess up here, that's your entire year, that's your entire season.
pressure.
That's
The
pressure is
the
real,
pressure
right?
becomes different. And that's why I think it's important for him to really get out there and get some good early jumps. And it's not necessarily winning jumps, but jumps just good enough to
qualify.
ensure that you're
in the
moving
top
on.
12.
So being able to get over 8 meters a lot earlier than he has been able to consistently do this season.
Yeah, so let's not panic the Jamaicans.
No, man,
You know, remember so them the Jamaicans once them say Lord have mercy and then them start watching and them Lord we are dramatic but we love it. We love it.
Don't
But
be
he'll
too
be fine.
jumpy.
No, he'll be fine. He'll be fine. He'll be
You'll be
fine.
fine. All right. And last but not least, Frederick Dakers.
Oh, yeah. I think the injury this season for Frederick
That's my biggest
has
concern.
really been the biggest setback for him. Because I don't think we can question the quality of the athlete that he is, but I'm hoping that the wrist and everything regarding the hand can be okay.
Yeah.
Because for him competing at a major championship, I think him have that down locked by now, right? We have seen that, silver medal 2019, but it's just a matter of where the body is, where the hand is, what will it allow by the time the competition gets going. I think that's the only concern I really have because, like I said, I know what he's capable of doing.
Right.
I know what he's capable of doing, so it's just a matter of everything coming together, and we have to remember that the injury was really a major setback for him this season.
For sure.
Yeah, right now it's like Frederick is running at 400 meters. He's gone out slowly and he's trying to run and catch
Build up,
everybody. down the
gradually
stretch.
get there. Yeah.
The question is, does he get there in the nick of time,
Yeah.
or is the Olympic Games just too close
For him to
for
recover.
him to put everything together? But I would say if it doesn't happen, next year is already looking positive for him.
Well, we will definitely be wishing him the best, as will
All of our athletes.
for sure.
Okay.
All of our athletes, irrespective of how we may feel about them.
Our athletes are big deal, you know.
Them one.
No, athletes are big
Because-
deal, man. Even those that didn't make it, you know, are
No,
big.
I
For sure,
know.
our competition big.
For sure.
Some top names, you know, and big times and jumps.
Yeah.
Not going. That's how big we are.
And the depth of our team is actually very credible. So
It is.
I do believe that despite it all, despite how it might be seeming skewed, I feel like we can actually do some surprises and some damages over there where people are not expecting.
Women are the Olympics
At the end of the
2021.
day-
Remember that.
Yeah, at the end of the
Thank
day,
me later. Your viewers will weigh in on it.
we'll get it from the start of the show.
But I just want them not forget because you see, let me tell you what might happen, viewers, right? One male got perform good enough. And they behave like them want to overshadow the
overshadow
team.
everything.
We're not overshadow the women, not this time.
I don't think that will happen this
I'm not
time.
taking it like I'm either.
But
Love
you
to
know,
see it.
I'll say something to you, Trish, and I'd use a biblical analogy. If you know anything about the Bible.
I do.
Okay, good.
I mean, alright, you need to wrap the show.
but
You need to wrap the show.
but you know, Trish,
I'm listening.
If you have all this greatness over here, and then you have another group over here where greatness isn't necessarily coming from, and you have just one out of this group coming to shock you, it's a massive deal, maybe even a bigger deal. I'm just saying. So don't go hating when the one male turns up and surprises the entire Jamaica and everybody is
I'll just be
jumping up
excited
and
for
down.
him, but that won't change anything. Yeah, I'll be excited for him.
Big up
But the
to all the
women
athletes
for him.
are the Olympics 2021.
Guys, this is the reason why we made sure to bring on these two people.
The experts.
The experts, but
Thank
apart
you.
from that, definite character. Guys, we appreciate everything. All the insights, the knowledge, the expert opinions. And thanks for coming through today, coming through, taking time out of your busy schedule. And guys, most importantly, download the Sportsmax app so you can get premium access to catch all the live action of the Tokyo 2020 Olympics on the go.
And our very own guest, Ricardo Chambers, will be one of the commentators on this year's Olympics. So just stay tuned, listen for his insight, and who knows, maybe he will be correct 1 or 2 times.
And guys, this is anytime, anywhere, on the go, right? Dedicated data from your digital prime bundle. So, all if you're in a traffic, you could have done at the supermarket, you could have done on your way home, you know, miss a moment.
And you know the Olympics time stay. So when Olympics game are going it early in the morning, so you can just wake up as early and catch it. And if you're a customer on the Slower network, fret not peeps. Digicel have you. Just register for a Digicel ID and pay for your subscription on the Sportsmax app. Or even better, just switch to the fastest network.
I only one network, Digicel. Guys, they never done this. Once you're a Digicel Plus TV customer, right? And you have the Sportsmax package, you get free access to the Sportsmax app. So no matter what, we have you covered. You know no reason for miss the Olympics. Cool? Sportsmax app,
Simply more sports.